During the investigation of the Titanic shipwreck, researchers observed something strange and unusual. At the sea's bottom, the front part of the ship was in good condition, whereas the back part was in very poor condition, and it was 2,000 feet away. Indeed, after lying at the sea bottom for hundreds of years, iron and steel deteriorate. But if these two sections were part of the same ship and sank at the same time, why was there such a difference between the front and the back? Researchers believe that on the night of the disaster, something else besides hitting the iceberg happened to the Titanic, causing more damage to its aft section. But the question remains, what was it? Welcome back once again to Unicopedia's videos. Viewers, in 1912, on the night when the Titanic crashed, it was 700 kilometers away from Newfoundland, Canada, alone in the middle of the dark sea. At the time of the incident, there were a total of 2,240 people on board, out of which 2,500 lost their lives. The ship that was called Unsinkable quickly succumbed to the dark depths of the sea before the power of nature. The only eyewitnesses to this accident were those who somehow jumped from the ship into the cold water of the Atlantic Ocean. Anything that happened from the collision with the iceberg to the sinking of the ship was recorded only by those eyewitnesses, who were themselves struggling against the cold water. The first rescue ship, the RMS Carpathia, arrived an hour and a half after the Titanic sank. It was fortunate they received the Titanic's emergency message. Otherwise, those fighting for their lives in the cold water would not have survived, and no one would have known about the Titanic disaster either. During the investigation, initially, no one knew what had happened to the ship. But then survivors revealed that the ship had collided with an iceberg. These statements were confirmed upon seeing the iceberg at the scene, which still bore Titanic's red paint. After the accident, eyewitness accounts and evidence led to the investigation report stating that the iceberg had left a 300-foot hole on the Titanic's right side, meaning 1/3 of Titanic's entire side was torn open. However, an eyewitness stated that it took nearly 2.5 hours for the ship to sink. Investigators believed that if the iceberg had indeed created a 300-foot gash, the Titanic should have sunk in minutes, not hours. But the truth remained unknown at the time. To uncover the truth, it was necessary to find the Titanic wreck. The search continued for many years, with the mystery becoming more serious each passing year. Finally, after 73 years, when the Titanic wreck was found, it was a huge breakthrough for the marine industry. The time had come to find answers to all the questions the Titanic had left behind. At a depth of 4,000 meters in the Atlantic Ocean, the wreckage lay in pitch-black darkness for decades. Several expeditions were arranged, capturing countless photos of the shipwreck. Oceanic explorer P.H. Nargeolet visited the Titanic wreck more than 30 times, but never saw a 300-foot hole. However, a profile photo showed a 30-foot area indicating impact, with an area of only 11 square feet. Calculations suggested it could accumulate around 370 gallons of water inside the Titanic every second. At this rate, the entire ship would fill with water in about 2.5 hours, matching the eyewitnesses' accounts of the sinking duration. Thus, one mystery was solved. There wasn't a 300-foot hole in the Titanic, only a 30-foot-long crack. But this wasn't the only mystery. Much remained to be discovered. During the investigation, researchers struggled to understand why the bow was in better condition than the stern and why there was such a distance between them. High-tech sonar scanning technology and ROVs captured hundreds of thousands of pictures of the wreck site, creating a 3D model with computer graphics. This model revealed details invisible to normal cameras or human eyes at such depths. It showed the 392-foot-long stern's decks nested within each other, resembling a paper ship rather than a steel one. Different parts separated from the ship were scattered around, with only 2 house-sized engines attached to it. The model also revealed an important clue about the stern's condition. When the stern hit the ocean floor 110 years ago, traces left at the site, visible only through the 3D model, showed it was rotating in an anti-clockwise direction. Scientists inferred from these marks that the stern was descending at 80 kilometers per hour. The forces generated by the water caused the ship's loose parts to break apart, and when it hit the ocean floor 4 kilometers below, all its decks sank into each other. Meanwhile, the bow's hydrodynamic design allowed it to cut through the water easily, preventing rotation and direct water force attacks. This explained why the bow was in better condition compared to the stern. Another mystery unraveled, but a question remained. When did the Titanic break into two parts? An eyewitness had reported the ship breaking before it sank, a belief held for years. However, the sonar-created 3D model suggested otherwise. While equipment inside the Titanic was scattered far and wide on the ocean floor, about 90% of these items belonged to the stern, spread over 3.2 square kilometers. If the section had separated from the bow above water, its debris would have covered a larger area by the time it reached the ocean floor. Therefore, experts believe the stern broke above water, but separated from the bow upon nearing the ocean floor, rotating and falling 2,000 feet away. Today, the RMS Titanic's body has completely rusted. Scientists believe that at ocean depths, oxygen is scarce, slowing the rusting process. However, rust samples revealed bacteria-released oxygen was causing the rust. Experts estimate that in a few years, all Titanic's floors will collapse on each other, losing its original shape forever. I hope you will like and share this video of Unicopedia. See you in the next awesome video. If you want to learn more about historical mysteries and discoveries, make sure to check out our other videos and don't forget to leave a comment with your thoughts.